All right, up first we have Aries rising and sun. This Gemini new moon happening on June 6th is taking place in your third house, squaring Saturn in Pisces in your 12th. So, a new moon in the third house can describe a desire for new ways of thinking or communicating. And I definitely feel like both of those are applicable right now. First of all, with this new moon in the third house, conjunct Venus, there can be something related to your mindset that goes back. Actually, this actually first happened in Leo, which is in your fifth house. So there could be something related to creative ideas that emerge for you back in August of 2023 that could be reemerging now in order for you to think about them differently. With this being in the third house, because Venus is coming into contact with the sun and it's this midpoint in her cycle. And if you haven't watched the overview and you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely check that out. But basically it's the midpoint of her cycle, and she's reflecting back on the mission she started back in August of 2023. So for you guys, I feel like, again, there's a new way of conceptualizing the things that you're working on or the things that you think are possible. And I really see that you are coming into a phase of like questioning what you have maybe believed for a long time. And this is a theme that I've kind of seen going on with the Sagittarius full moon that we just had. I think that this is not something out of nowhere. I feel like there's this openness that you guys are coming into, but then also limiting beliefs and fears that have been kind of entrenched within your subconscious, within your past, within, fear of losing things, fear of things not going well. I feel like that is playing a big role in your process right now. So let me talk about it in terms of astrology. So with this new moon being in the third house with Venus, it's trying to help you open up when it comes to maybe relationships, your creativity, your self-worth, your image of yourself, your beauty, money, the way that you value things, the way that you prioritize things. It's trying to help you become more open-minded and adapt your mindset around those topics. It also might be a very social time, so you might find that you are going out on lots of adventures. I pulled this forest card, and it definitely seems like some of you guys could be camping, hiking, if you're in that kind of environment like I am in Colorado, or doing something outdoors, doing something adventurous with friends, meeting people. It's very much that kind of energy. That's the surface level, though. Other things that are going on could be that you guys are confronting some long-held beliefs around things. I feel like part of you with this Hierophant and then the moon in reverse are becoming aware of like where you have really kind of fallen into like what society tells you to think, and you're starting to question that. So like, okay, this is how you make money, or this is how you should look by this age, or this is how you should behave by this age, or this is the kind of people you should surround yourself with, or this is kind of relationship you should have. This is how you should define things in your life. I feel like you guys are questioning that with the Hierophant in reverse. You're bringing your own opinions to the table. You're asking questions, and you're thinking, does it have to be this way? Or could I have a different kind of relationship? Could I do something that's against the norm in a way? But I think that thought process is also bringing up a lot of your own fears with the moon in reverse and limiting beliefs with the devil card. And I think this is related to the new moon squaring Saturn in your 12th. This is a heavy energy, and it can bring up a lot of like self-limitations and limiting beliefs, and also self-sabotaging behavior. So it's like, maybe you're questioning, maybe I can look the hottest I've ever looked at 45, for example. But then the devil comes in and it's like, oh no, that's not reality for you. That's not what society tells you. So let's go back on this behavior that we've been doing where we're eating really late at night, for example, before going to bed. So it's like, maybe there's behaviors contributing to the uncertainty around this belief, and that would be worth exploring for you, because I feel like you're wanting to challenge the status quo. You're wanting to look at life differently and be a different kind of person besides what society says. And I feel like there's an internalized part of you that might be, kind of a mirroring of the patriarchy, a mirroring of our capitalist society, a mirroring of just like society around us and like the rules that are laid out and the boxes that are laid out. And I feel like there's part that has become internalized, and it might be challenging this new way of trying to perceive things. And Mercury and Jupiter are also conjunct in Gemini in the third house. So I do think that you will have success when it comes to, gaining higher ground. Okay, I see the framework that I'm in. I see my limiting belief. I see where it's coming from within society. I have higher ground to be able to look down and understand why this is happening, and decide to think what I want to think anyway. So I think that that's one of the really big things going on. One thing that I also think is happening for you is the potential for some conflict. And I say that because this is a new moon in the third house of communication. So sometimes with this squaring Saturn, something can go awry. There can be miscommunication, or like not as much harmony when it comes to wanting to understand the other person, because Venus is squaring Saturn. It's like Venus wants harmony, but Saturn is a planet of separation, like Mars. And so there is a little bit of this like roughness that can happen, or this coldness that can happen with Saturn when it comes to our communication. So there could be some like misaligned values, and maybe you're butting heads with somebody, and there could be some conflict that comes up, especially because Mars and Chiron are in your sign and it's squaring Pluto in the 11th. So this could be with friends. This could be with like your direction in life, like the things that you really want versus what other people want. But I'm just getting the sense that like with the Five of Wands and the Fool in reverse, and then Mars squaring Pluto, which can already be like highly reactive, I feel like there's something here where generally I think that you are going to have like combative energy. The Fool tends to be like a little bit reckless, or not really careful in their speech or like thinking or communication. And so I think that that's one of the biggest things that you need to be thinking of is, or be aware of, is like, I don't want to say something I don't mean and be overly impulsive or overly brash. And that is definitely an Aries trait. So I would just say like, not to do that, basically. I kind of want to pull an advice card, because I feel like that was a lot around what is happening. So what's the advice for Aries? What advice do we have for Aries rising? Okay, so we have wish, desire, and hope, and metamorphosis, transcend, and journey. So she who wishes, who grants wishes, and she who becomes. So yeah, I do feel like there's some wish that you want that you may have conflict with others about, or internal conflict with. And I feel like there needs to be some changes within your journey in order to make this happen. So maybe it can't happen with this person. Maybe it has to be adjusted a little bit. A compromise maybe needs to be made, for example. But it's like you can't get it through brute force totally, because Venus is on this sun and moon. It does require some degree of finding harmony and balance. And so if there is some kind of conflict that arises internally or with others, there needs to be a little bit of personal compromise or sacrifice that comes into play in order for this dream to happen. So I hope that resonates for you, Aries. I'd love to hear how it does in your messages down below. Don't forget to also give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends. And if you want a reading from me, you can always check that out in my description box down below. Have a great day. Bye.